Pedro Beats.
Yes, sir.
I know what time it is. Back.
These guys.
It's the Juh Kickin It Podcast, man, with your host, D-Lo. And
Man.
Come on, D-Lo.
Hey, the drill, man.
we got a special guest in the building, man.
Damn
Right
right.
now, take us through.
So we got the GOAT to some,
Yeah.
a brother to others, the one, you know, we got Dr. D,
Yeah.
Dr. Hodge here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Hodge to the great. Let's
How
have
you
some
feeling
fun.
first off?
Oh, man, I feel great, man. Inspired, man. Talk to y'all, man. Spread the word about the trip.
Yeah.
Talk about life.
Yeah.
You guys could be doing a billion ill things, but doing something positive. Proud of you.
I appreciate that.
Testament to your parents, to your belief in faith in God. So let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I'm ready to roll.
So tell me a little bit about your upbringing, meaning like, how did you become a MD from ground up?
Oh, from ground up, man. School,
Yeah,
bro.
from school to the whole nine.
Grew up with, grades are super important.
Right.
My mom had like 30 belts. So
Understood.
she said, go pick one.
Understood.
Grew up, they didn't spare the rod.
Right.
I had tremendous leadership in the house. So the MD was super attainable.
Yeah.
Mom and dad, they were Titans, man. Started from none from Alabama.
Good.
So when I say Titans, no head start, man.
Right.
Got educated, masters. Have an elder sister. She's a surgeon.
Right.
So she went ahead of me in Spelman. So, and I ain't the first or the last doctor.
Yeah.
So, and then of course my hero,
Yes, sir.
Trench over there. Put him
Come
in
in
the
here,
camera.
man. We got all in the
You know what
building,
we got?
man.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
There's two of them.
Two of them.
There's two of them.
So having Bro is kind of like a mentor, like a mentor to y'all. So seeing him do his thing, always gave me the strength, the belief to whatever I put my head to, whether MD, whether it be a chef, I'm going to be the illest.
Iron sharpens iron, bro.
Yeah.
And I know since we had your twin up here just recently.
Yeah.
So like, how was it like always like brotherly competition coming up, or like to get because both y'all were of success, right? Y'all yourselves.
Never comp, bro.
Was it competition or was
Bro,
it more like brotherly?
I'm still his biggest fan.
Understood.
Yeah, I was his biggest fan. He was definitely more academically talented than me.
Right.
He was physically more gifted than me.
Right.
Never hated. He's scoring touchdowns. I'm blocking for him.
Right.
That's my twin. That's Trent. Fucking
go!
go!
Yeah.
Wait.
So,
You was at fullback and you was at running back?
Situations.
Too bad.
Situations. Or I was a wing back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was. I've been his biggest fan since the womb.
Swear.
And vice versa. So it's a special superpower to have someone that has never doubted you for almost 50 years of their life.
That's rare.
And no one I know
Yeah.
got that on their back, on their front, on their side, but God. So I got God that never doubted me. Twin never doubted me. Come on, man.
Yeah.
How can
we
lose?
How can you lose?
Yeah, I'm blessed.
You can't lose. So
I'm blessed.
I'm glad you explained that.
Yeah.
So now that you are
Superpower, bro.
here, exactly.
Yeah.
So now that you are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people who may not know exactly what you do in your profession.
Yeah.
Give them kind of like a brief summary.
Man, over 25 years of family medicine. I've done delivered babies. I do hospice. I done internal medicine. Everything in the scope of family medicine, small procedures.
Right.
I spent 3 or 4 years doing clinical research, doing phase 3 clinical trials, running unbelievable double-blind randomized trials. This is after 9/11. I worked on inhaled, anthrax vaccine. I worked on inhaled insulin, a lot of blood pressure medications. So I've done that. My favorite to date is hospice and cannabis. I had a neck injury in 2012 where I fractured my C5, C4. Ended up getting plates and screws. We learned maybe 2 hours of the therapeutic effects of cannabis while I was in medical school.
Right.
Everything else was negative or punitive damages. So from my neck injury, finally using cannabis, because I was super L7 when it came to drugs, outside of caffeine.
Right.
I abused the hell out of caffeine like everybody else. But as far as like nicotine, cigs and stuff, I wasn't doing it.
Right.
I've been around cannabis, high school, senior college, a lot of it.
Right.
But it wasn't, I didn't touch it.
Okay.
It was around in med school until I got hurt. So that kind of changed my whole focus into, because once you become a patient,
it's different. It gives you different. It gives you different perspective. Oh, understood. My dad is actually a physician.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's an MD. He retired.
Okay.
Family practice.
Same with me.
But he also spent time in the emergency room.
Do the ER is wicked work, man. Shout out to all the ER docs out there. It's wicked work out there.
Yeah. So both sides, like being able to see both sides, being a patient and a physician.
The patient will change it all how you practice.
Right.
If you were able to, if you have a debilitating injury, most people, disability, you just don't hear from them again.
Right.
But I was blessed to still be able to practice.
Okay.
So now my whole approach to the patient is super holistic. I care a little bit about what your physics came on, but I want to know how you're doing.
Right.
Mentally, how you're doing, emotionally, how you're doing.
It's important.
The physical stuff, I can maybe treat with rash, sun, maybe you need a prescription. But the mental health, the invisible stuff that, that's so often rushed, you just don't have enough time to talk to your physician about. That is my crust, of how I like to practice now.
Understood.
For sure.
Understood. So it kind of leads up to like the next question: what is, for people who may not know what cannabis is, what is cannabis and what are the effects?
Oh man, that's so broad. Cannabis sativa L, if you're gonna say it nice, that's the genus species, right?
Understood.
No, you good, bro. This is your podcast.
Understood.
So cannabis sativa L is an unbelievable plant that wrongfully was given all these false claims that weren't backed on science.
Right.
So this plant has been around for thousands and thousands of years, man. You heard of Egypt, right?
Yeah, of course.
Y'all heard of them tombs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When they opened them tombs, guess what was in it?
Cannabis.
That old.
Wow.
So we know cannabis was used in what? Religious practices.
Right.
Right. It might have been used to ease death and dying.
Right.
Right. We can't talk to the guy. He wrapped up in mummies. But
there was a lot of sacrifices back in the day. So maybe they little cannabis.
Back in the day, everything was plant medicine. Today, modern medicine mimics plant medicine.
Right.
So again, let's get back to the plant. The plant's incredible. The plant has over 400 compounds.
Right. Wow.
Potentially, all of them therapeutic. None of them are lethal. Okay. They're very minimum drug have so super safe for mom, dad, babies.
Right.
The delivery methods are robust. If you have swallowing difficulties, you can rub it under your lip.
Right.
If you have, again, digestion issues, you can inhale it. Shout. There you go.
Yeah.
Someone's using my favorite delivery method. If you don't want to ingest, there's topical creams. You can rub it on sore knees, elbows. You can rub it on your skin for acne, psoriasis, eczema.
I didn't know that.
Right. Yeah.
For eczema and stuff.
Bruh, it's antibacterial, right? Antiviral. And it also has immune boosting issues you can do. So acne is bacterial. This thing is antibacterial, right? And it's non-comedogenic.
Right.
Doesn't clog pores like most of the products we put on the skin.
Right.
You can use for protein, the fiber. You can use the fibrous material to make concrete, bricks, steel. Henry Ford, you heard of him?
Yeah.
Okay. That thing was made out of cannabis sativa L.
Really?
The first car, hemp.
The first?
Yeah, then they got hemp fuel. We can also, hemp can save a lot of the Fortune 500 companies a lot of money. Because now with the new president, they all about climate, right? You got to buy those carbon credits, right? If you can't clean the air and don't want to spend multi-millions of your factory and redoing how it pollutes stuff, you got to go to a hemp company and say, hey, I got to buy these carbon credits. Because hemp, does what? It cleans the soil and it leaves a way less carbon footprint than the fossil stuff, right?
Yeah.
We know for sure that cannabis sativa L, the cannabinoids, the flavonoids, the terpenoids, right? Three main components. If y'all want questions about it, let's go. We know for sure that they can reduce seizures in babies. Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, horrible pediatric epilepsy. It can reduce seizures, not stop them, but reduce them. And that's just with one of the main compounds, cannabidiol, by itself. So as a physician and just as a critical thinker, if it helped with epilepsy, if it's helping with pain, if it's helping with end of life, and we're just taking bits and pieces from it.
Exactly.
Imagine if you can use the whole plant.
That's true.
And that's called the entourage effect. You know, you get the most out of it when you use the whole plant. And that's going to be coming soon with federal deschedulation. We'll have better research. You know, you can't give pediatric population and some elderly, some sensitive people THC placebo psychoactivity. But once it's a Schedule 3 drug, the research is going to go super accelerated, and you'll see more. And then we can make more health claims. There'll probably be some cures. We know it's going to really help with addiction, autism. It's great for sickle cell, cancers everywhere. It's great for chemotherapy associated nausea and vomiting that's associated with chemo or radiation. And then, you know, we talked about emotions. Medication has not advanced anywhere since I was a baby that dealt with emotions, right? And even before then, it dealt with emotions. Cannabis has the potential to help with depression, PTSD, anxiety.
So it's like with all these benefits, where did this negative perception come from that people still have?
Yo, I ask you.
I don't know.
Really? You understand capitalism, right? So I ask you.
Understood.
Once someone invented this thing called the hypodermic needle, right? Now you invent this needle to deliver. We talked about delivery, and that's a great question because pharmacokinetics is how we understand drugs. You know, how fast the drug starts to work in our body. So, an IV, you're putting medication directly in the vein. Right. So as soon as you push it down, it goes right there to your heart, 1 beat of heart. The delivery, it's undefeated as far as time and speed. Okay. So it's easy to sell to the world that, hey man, we got this IV, and the way that y'all used to do it with grinding down herbs and petri dishes and died. But it was more of it kind of will and deal, no science, that stuff is bad now. They started saying, hey, let's tax cannabis. You know, before it wasn't taxed, and doctors were prescribing opium, cannabis were prescribing cocaine if you needed it, right, for anesthetic, right?
Actually,
This is brutal wars. Cannonball, you need, get your leg on, man. What you need? Alcohol too slow. We're gonna put some Here's some cocaine, it's a great anesthetic, right? Here's some opium, great anesthetic, right? Then they started taxing, and then that's punitive damage because if you don't pay tax, what? You go to jail, right? And then they took it off the pharmacopoeia, all the medicinal. They just erased it. Said nah. And then it was declassified. Schedule 1 drug, meaning there's no therapeutic effect, high potential for abuse, huge public harm, just like cocaine, just like heroin, just like meth. No science, no trials, no research, just said it. Wow. And it greatly harmed, disproportionately harmed minorities with the punitive damages.
That's understood. So we see you have your business right here. How did that come about? We got, if y'all don't know, it's Rasean Hodge.
Oh, we got to tag. Hey, we're gonna tag it. We're gonna tag it. Yeah, Rasean Hodge, CBD. The CBD company.
Yes. How did it come about? What's the ups and downs of the business?
Oh man, all ups.
Yeah.
It's not. It wasn't a financial play. It was like a play to help me heal as well.
Right.
Because I was dealing with chronic pain. It took me up to like 6 years to finally get used to it. Mm-hmm. And now I'm like the happiest man in the world.
That's good.
Yeah, I feel that. You can't argue with me. I ain't the happiest man in the world. But that journey to become the happiest man in the world was a community effort.
Okay.
Because when I felt super low and super down, just hearing your testimony or hearing what the cannabis is doing, or a caregiver getting a little break and they're happier, the patient's happier, man, that fueled me, juiced me. Man, my problems are small. Remind me, my problems are small. People going through some real stuff. Really. Because when you're dealing with chronic pain, you want to sometimes put your issues in the forefront. And on the grand scheme of things, I'm not paralyzed. I'm helping people that are paralyzed or Lou Gehrig's ALS that are going to end up in a chair. I'm dealing with pediatrics that never going to get out of a chair, or won't be able to be 50. So, bro, community effort got me to this point. Now the store was like, look, we had no safe access to CBD, cannabidiol, which is non-psychoactive. It's everywhere, but I mean safe. The labeling's all false. But when you guys go to gas stations, even dispensaries, the labeling is not that accurate, and we're treating disease. Right. And to treat a disease, the medicine must be predictable, right? Right. Predictable. Buying CBD from the gas station on Monday, and then you go back next week. You think that chemotype's the same. You think it's tested for pesticides, bacteria, fungus, viruses, heavy metals that's just going to accelerate your dementia, which is going to accelerate the cancer, which is going to accelerate your pain. So the store was more of a, hey man, this is some stuff that I did a lot of evidence-based medicine and research. I done checked the COAs. This is a good farm, it's safe. I talked to the chemist for formulations, and I use my own personal testimonies for my chronic pain. Right. During the pandemic, I was able to get my master's in cannabis at the University of Maryland, where I really got to dive deep into pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics and really ultimately think critically what I hate about cannabis, what I want to improve about cannabis. Right. And that's the big thing about life, not to believe and drink everything they give you. Unwrap it, unpackage it, really think critically, what are they trying to achieve? Think about the bias, because most products that's in their face, if I own it, I'm going to say whatever it is for financial gain, right? Right. So that's bias. Right. If I use it, bias, right? So everything we're on commercials, advertisement, billboards, just think critically about it, especially what you put in your mouth.
Understood.
Yeah,
understood. Yeah. I know you talked about having like a community, like family, right?
Yeah.
How was family life and I guess not work life, but just like trying to obtain your goal in the world of cannabis?
Oh,
I was trying to balance
sport.
family and grinding, like trying to push
the grind.
You know what I mean?
The cannabis grind is daily.
Right.
Because whatever you're doing, living to me is the pursuit of learning.
Right.
Always learn.
Right.
Always try to learn. Never think you know enough. Keep learning.
It's fun.
Yeah, keep learning. Stay humble. Keep learning. Keep building. So the cannabis grind is all day, every day. It's helpful that I use it for my chronic pain.
Right.
So I understand the limitations. And then again, it allows me to still think critically, like, man, what about that enzyme blocker, because of tolerance? And if I can just take a dose and it lasts 8 hours versus liver breaking it down in 45 minutes and boom, it's on, I got it, so, and then, I'm always thinking, well, what about packaging, safekeeping? Because for this momentum to keep going, we always have to talk about harm reduction. That's it is. That's the only, because it gets in the wrong hands.
Right.
Poor instructions. The docs aren't talking to the caregivers. We're not talking about safekeeping enough.
That's any prescriptions, don't you think?
But with cannabis and the potential to eliminate so many prescriptions, we got to be super careful.
Oh, understood.
Right. Because when they can eliminate so many prescriptions, people gonna lose money. Yeah, and their cap values in the billions.
Of course.
Yeah. So if we're not careful, they're gonna say, "Ha ha, told you, boom, boom, boom."
Exactly.
Yeah, and that slows it down. And the labs can say, "Hey, I told you," and they can still make money from urine drug screens.
Right.
They're gonna lose so much money. Every lab, when you can't test for cannabis anymore, it's not a drug anymore. So the labs will be the biggest loser. Pharma will be the second biggest loser. And then you have this punitive system, this criminal justice system where they'll lose as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we know a lot of athletes use cannabis, to deal with certain pains that go through the game. Could you see like any of the professional leagues possibly like allowing players to use it?
Yeah, they stopped testing.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, the MLB stopped testing a while ago. They just, the latest to get sponsored for the MLB is Fayetteville's your guy, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Primitive.
He had
Primitive is, they got sponsored by the Detroit Lions, man. Wow. So you can get Tigers. Thank you. So that's several baseball teams have done it. Hockey's already cool with it. Football stopped. Even last Olympics, they talked like nanograms. It went from detectable to like micro nanograms, the threshold to be illegal. So, you got to think this is a big world, 8 billion people. Exactly. Only, America sees it as but Canada just above the border. Right. It's been legal since what?
I don't know.
Wow. Let's say 2011, I believe.
That makes no sense.
So it's a little minute.
It was a Schedule 3 drug.
Yeah.
Then they went rec, the whole country. Germany's the latest big country to go rec. So we're behind. And it's unfortunate. South America, most of that is, recreational, legal. Most of the Caribbean. So it's just a matter of time before federally, we're going to do it. But it's more, it's political play too. We got a big election coming up, so be careful. Watch the bias. Watch the play out.
Yeah. So I guess, what are your future goals, or I guess plans for what you're doing right now? What is if you can look in the future right now, where
aspirations. I'm 50. And I'm fascinated about it. I would love to be a chief medical officer, a chief scientific officer for probably like an MSO. Okay. A multi-state operator. I would love to have some input into marketing, government affairs, community outreach. Definitely would love to have some input in clinical trials. From pediatrics to the adults, writing research questions, for sure.
When you say government affairs, you mean like possibly getting like government contracts with?
No, just lobbying, just advocating.
Okay.
So, you can be a registered lobbyist, or you can just be an advocate like myself. And you see when I'm always at the Capitol, I'm talking to different legislators because they write law.
Right.
We live in a state that's 18 cities have been decrimmed, but that doesn't mean it's legal. You see what I'm saying? We only have oil only here. We need to expand delivery methods, talk to legislators, man. We need to inhale, we need gummies. We got bordering states, Alabama, they starting out with gummies, vapes, and oil. And we're just restricted to oil, which is, in my opinion, huge medical discrimination. Because oil takes a while to work. Inhalation is almost as fast as that IV we talked about 30 minutes ago. That's why inhalation is the most common way to ingest cannabis because of how fast the onset of action. If you're in chronic pain, you don't need it in 30 minutes. You need to relieve when? Now, right? IV is a procedure. It comes. You can get an infection. You can get a blood infection. It can kill you. There's a lot of pain with it. Inhalation is just a little slower, but very fast. So that's why it's so popular.
Okay, understood. So I know some people call you the gas goat.
Yeah.
You're on live right now, right?
Yeah.
Where did that name come about?
Little trash.
Like, is this just like a neighborhood thing?
Twin just he just supported the He just supported. He just that support from the fam.
Yeah. I've been seeing everyone tagging me. It'd be like they put the goat with a tree next to it. It's like an emoji. I was like, that's so
bro, I live, eat, and breathe.
Yeah.
Cannabis. Those phytocannabinoids from the plant mimic what's in our body.
Okay.
When I say in our body, I say endogenous, coming from within. So those phytocannabinoids, they mimic 2-AG and anandamide. Right. And those are part of your endocannabinoid system. So what I want you to take home from this live is the importance of the endocannabinoid system, right? How those phytocannabinoids mimic what's already in us. So you're not taking nothing crazy foreign. It mimics what's in you already, but accentuates it. You see what I'm saying? And think about testing. Be careful where you consume your products, whether it's CBD, whether it's a distillate, isolate, or full spectrum, the whole caboodle, THC, CBD, CBD, and everything. Make sure the testing is cool. Understand your ECS. And that's really how we can continue the momentum going.
For somebody that probably don't know, because some people probably don't know the difference between CBD and THC. Could you describe that to me?
Cannabidiol was discovered like in the 90s. It's one of the 400 to 500 compounds that's in the plant, but that's non-psychoactive. Does not cause any type of psychoactivity. Can it cause lethargy? Sure. Or should you take CBD a half hour before your meds? Sure. Is there any lethality? None. Just like THC. So do I feel comfortable? There's a ton of evidence-based medicine studies. Not People Magazine, Instagram, Facebook, evidence-based medicine, NIH, scholarly articles on the benefits of cannabidiol. It's great. It could be, and you don't wait till you're sick either, man. It's preventative too. I definitely focus on prevention now that I have a situation. I don't want more morbidity. I don't want more issues that decrease my quality of life. So you got to be in defense, prevention. So cannabidiol is great for prevention. Same with THC. It's great preventative medicine as well.
So one last question before we get you out of here, right?
So it's been fun.
If there's any aspiring doctors coming up right now that want to get into the world of cannabis, I know did you get your doctorate from Morehouse?
I got my undergrad Morehouse. I went to Robert Wood Johnson. It's in Jersey. From a medical degree, I went back to the Morehouse School of Medicine for my family medicine residency.
Okay. So what advice would you give them, the youngest, trying to come up and do what you do, basically? Honestly.
To do plant medicine?
Yes.
Oh man, we need you. It's just beginning. For anyone, not just doctors, nurses, sports medicine, physical therapists, chaplains, you're the non-plant touching, right? If you're an engineer, if you're marketing, if you want to do real estate, the cannabis sector pays more. If you want to be a brand ambassador, cannabis, management, cannabis, HR, cannabis. And for my physicians, sure, we need you. The curriculums, hopefully the next decade will slowly change and you'll learn about the endocannabinoid system, more therapeutic effects of cannabis, isolate, whole plant, be a great advocate. We still need you. There's way more conditions than 18 that need to be on these state qualifying conditions. As an MD, you have this huge voice for people that need you. More than just cancer, let's talk more about the mental health that cannabis can be adjunct therapy for. I think it's May's Mental Health Month. There's a lot of PTSD that cannabis can help. So we're definitely need the young physicians to start thinking more about preventative. Don't be brainwashed and focus on, hey, if I got a stomach ache, here's some Tums. If I got knee pain, here's Motrin. Let's try to be less invasive. Think about the patient's gut in 30 years, 40 years. So don't bombard it with pills. Suggest more rest, suggest sleep, suggest exercise. Check on your patients, make sure their stress levels are appropriate. They're handling their daily activities appropriately. That's less medication. More preventative. So, really try to get a rapport with your patients so they feel comfortable talking to you about anything from my new docs. That's probably what we're missing is that the trust. The trust has definitely been broken in the last 2 decades. And guys my age, we're seeing our parents, bunch of health issues and facing mortality. So we're saying, no, I ain't going out like that. So we're already thinking of a different way. Like maybe the plants is it, because obviously that's not working. It's more issues. It's more pills upon pills. And so we're thinking critically, our generation, and then, our kids are watching us. So it's going to change pretty fast because they're like, nah, Pop ain't reaching for the prescriptions like that. Nah, he's on some other stuff. Yeah, he's got a medical card. They understand. You see? They understand. Yeah.
Well, y'all heard it from the GOAT first, man.
Yeah. Put
down the drugs, pick up the plant, man.
Man. Yeah.
Juh Kickin It Podcast.
Man,
Appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor.
Likewise, bro.
Before
we get out of here, where can they reach you at?
On IG is the easiest. DM me for any questions, caregivers, patients.
We'll drop it in the description.
Any help? It's RaseanHodged, Rasean Hodge.md or Rasean Hodge MD on IG.
And then if they want to pull up to the shop, what's the address?
Rasean Hodge MDCBD.com. The address is there, Rasean Hodge MDCBD.com. Appreciate your support. And in good health always, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace and praise.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.